Hi, it's Ron Brown with your Being Truly Well Minutes for today. Today I want to talk about something continuing on where we were talking about truly taking accountability for your life. We talked about doing an audit of your time, an audit of what you're doing with your limited amount of time that we each have. Again, people come into our lives and they leave. We spend a certain amount of time together, and then like passengers on a subway train, they leave and then new people come on. Or sometimes you're riding that car alone for a while and it can feel very cold and alone. But those times often are the best to build new confidences. Maybe to move to the next car on the subway train. Maybe get off at the next stop and get on another train. So we need to be truly wise and accountable for everything that we do. Count it all joy for everything that happens in your life. There are no such things as accidents in the universe. You can bump into people. I talked about how I ran into someone that loved what I said about embryonic truth. If you've been watching the video series, you know what I'm talking about. And other times you'll run into someone where you'll hear something that totally opens your eyes and clicks. And validate something you've been thinking. And they can be from all over the world. There's some fascinating people that are out there, people that I've been friends with on Facebook, and some that I just ran into or saw a video on them. I've talked about Jim Rohn and how I've been listening to him for years, and hearing his speaking. Never met him in person. I did go to a Tony Robbins seminar once in Philadelphia with a friend of mine, and Paul Hurst, that's you. We had a good time at that event, and we both listened to his tapes on personal power. And it's funny, sometimes things come in your mind and they get placed there, and sometimes it's like a filing system that it needs to be there, but it's misfiled. It doesn't quite make sense in the way that it is received in your mind. And you kind of have to go through that filing cabinet and reshuffle it around and reorganize the papers in order for it to all make sense. And that's what the universe truly wants us to do, is to take the time daily to listen within to what our embryonic truth is, which is, and again, if you've been hearing me talk about embryonic truth, you know what I'm talking about, but if this is the first video you're seeing, I believe that the universe places within us our mission that only we can unfold and create that will help many. And in your many can be one, it can be thousands, it could be two. It could be an entire town, it could be a community, it could be a bunch of things. But it's whatever you're meant to unfold in your life. Only you can do that, no one else. And it's like a puzzle that each of us has a piece that unless it gets put on the board, it's not going to fill the gap that's needed to complete the picture. And I believe that about the universe and about our lives, that we all have these puzzle pieces that are our responsibility to bring together with others. So, I'm very excited for this upcoming week. There's going to be some interviews, some in person, some that are over the phone. Very exciting week ahead. I'm just so joyful and thankful that the universe is taking me closer to my truth and to the path that I'm meant to live. And as I continue to become 220 pounds, notice the way I said that. No losses here. As I become the 220-pound person that I need to be, and continue my pathway to becoming a life coach and continue that journey, I know within my spirit that there is joy, there is love, and there is peace as I take these steps forward, the action steps, as I kind of talked about on yesterday's video. Recording this the same day I recorded the one for today because I do have an early interview in the morning. But I want you to realize that, we take steps daily. They may not be in the right direction, but we still take steps. If you feel stagnant, that's still a step. It's a decision step of staying put. It's a step that just stomps straight downward, and all it does is make you further stuck. So you need to very carefully, as I do, and I'm preaching to the choir here, we have to carefully evaluate, what did we do with the hours that just passed? What are we planning to do with the hours that are ahead? It's entirely our life's mission and passion, it should be, to truly become our authentic self in vibrational truth, to create and give and share with a joyful heart, a joyful spirit. There are some amazing people. There's a guy named Owen Fox that I watched his video just a few moments ago, and he's someone that I've been friends with for a while on Facebook, and I watched his video and it just touched me so much. And he talked about, well, you could look him up on Facebook if you're in there, Owen Fox, and he's all the way over in Ireland, and he speaks such clarity on a lot of issues, and he was talking about that people should give to you joyfully, and if you're not going to give it joyfully, don't give it at all. And at first I heard it, and but then I listened and heard him out, and it just makes perfect sense. In the Bible it talks about, that we must give from a joyful place, a joyful spirit. And so I truly know that what he's saying is valid, and I think that the universe truly gives us what we need to hear at a time we need to hear it. And I am just so grateful for the universe and for how the internet has truly enlivened our connectivity worldwide. But even before the internet, I believe that we could always sense what was going on in another part of the world. But we just didn't have as clear a picture. So as we become more connected, sometimes we become less in tune. I know it sounds odd, doesn't it? There's an information overload sometimes where we absorb so much stuff. In seconds you can hear when someone gets elected president, or when something happens to one of the Kardashian sisters. Let's not go there. Or, we have this instant tapping of information that comes to us in seconds over our cell phone. They're bragging about how your cell phone is so 2 seconds ago. I saw an advertisement with that. But the thing is, we absorb it all, and we can't sift through, like I talked about the other day, about a week ago, I think it was, about sifting through and getting what we truly need from it. What are the gold chunks that we need out of that? So we need to start using a filter to narrow down, not to become narrow-minded, but to narrow down what we choose to spend our time on, so that we can focus our energies on what is good, what is true, and what is ringing true within us, like a bell that sounds off. It must come from a good place, a solid place of truth. So I think for me, I'm finding that pathway. Every day that I'm exercising and walking feels so amazing. I feel alive. And I haven't felt that way in a long time. And I'm taking action steps toward what I visualize as my pathway, to become my authentic self entirely in every facet of my life. So I would ask you, if you feel that you're stuck, or that you have too much coming at you, take time to filter it out. We talked about how James Cameron decided he was not going to follow professional sports, especially football. Wasn't going to fill his mind up with that. Instead, he filled it in with his creative writing and his artistry, his paintings and his movies. And the world has benefited from that. So I'm not asking you to give up professional sports, but whatever it is in your life that you find wastes your time. It might be watching a soap opera. It might be, hanging out with a group of friends that every time you leave there you feel worse about yourself. We're responsible for the energy that we surround ourselves with. And that energy can be other people. It could be a TV show. It could be a feeling that you get from living in a certain part of the country, a certain area. If you feel it's dragging you down, it very well may be. So you need to be very careful what you allow around you, what you allow to occupy your mind, because it's occupied whether you want it to be occupied or not. It's just, what does it choose to dwell on? And a pond that dwells upon stillness becomes stagnant, stale, and even one that's just full of muck and mire. And it truly dies. So you've got to keep it going, but in a way and in a direction, like a stream needs to have a pathway to go that's going to lead it somewhere. Where are you heading? If you don't know, you need to find out. As for me, I know where I'm heading. I'm heading to some interviews, and they're exciting. And I'm looking forward to living in the area that I know that they're in, and to have the salary that I know I deserve, and to have the life on the terms that I want and create in conjunction with the universal truth. So, this is Ron Brown with Being Truly Well. Have a great day.